Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I give you the opportunity to test your comic book grading skills up against actual results from CGC. Inside this box, I have 3 economy tier books that just got back from being graded. These books were submitted by best friend of the channel, Octavio, who once again made his submission available to all of us so that we can test our comic book grading skills. Thank you, as always, Octavio, for your continued support of this video series. For those of you who haven't seen these videos before, welcome. I have a lot of videos in this genre, so if this video has any value to you, was entertaining, was informative in any way, shape, or form, I definitely encourage you to go back and take a look at the other videos that I have in this series. But let me quickly explain to you what we do. First, we take a look at video that I made of the 3 books in this submission when they were raw, before they got sent off to CGC. We will assess those books in their raw form for any defects, any damage, anything that might impact the grade negatively. Then we're going to give our best guess as to what we think the grade might be. You'll have yours in your mind, and I will share my guess with you. Then we will do the unboxing. We'll take a look at the books fresh back from CGC, see what the actual results are, and compare our guesses to them. Did we nail the grade and come very, very close? Well, good for us, we're doing something right. Or were we way off? Well, that's okay too. Being way off just means that there's an opportunity for us to learn. So we can go back and look at the book in the raw now that we know what the final grade is, and maybe adjust our expectations and even look at the grader's notes, see if there aren't any clues as to why the books got the grades that they did. This is all done in an effort to make us better, more confident submitters to CGC. And of course, looking at a book in the raw on a video from YouTube is not the ideal way to grade a book, but once again, this is all for fun and hopefully for a little bit of education as well. So please take it in the spirit that it's intended. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the 3 books in this submission when they were raw. First up, we have The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 101. This is the first appearance of Morbius, the living vampire, Dr. Michael Morbius. There's a lizard appearance in here as well that CGC chooses to note. This book obviously has some color-breaking spine ticks all up and down the spine there. It's an accumulation of them. I think it's enough of them that it's going to matter significantly. Some color rub there as well. There appears to be some kind of tearing wear there along the edge, some creasing there, some color rub wear and creasing there in the bottom right-hand corner. All of that stuff is going to hurt a lot. It looks really good, but just some of those creases just can't be helped, especially in the bottom right-hand corner there. It's just absolutely going to hurt. And this crease, of course, in the top here is going to hurt the grade a lot as well through the ad there. All these books have been pressed and cleaned, so they are as flat and as clean as they're going to get. So they present pretty nicely. It's when you dig into them, obviously, what you do to grade them. Color rub there, a little bit of staining, tanning. When you start to look at it, you start to see all the problems. And so in total, to me, this one's a 6.5. Next up, we have The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 46. This is the origin and first appearance of the Shocker, Herman Schultz. Also, Peter Parker moves into an apartment with Harry Osborn. This book also has color-breaking spine ticks, but not nearly as many as the last book. But they are obvious, and they are there, and they're going to hurt the grade. That corner's not great. That creasing is light to moderate, maybe I'd call it. But there's enough of it that it's going to take a nice little chunk out. The good news is that the rest of this book looks really, really good along that edge. So it's basically just everything you see along the spine and in that top corner that's going to really hurt this grade on the front. On the back, it looks pretty good. Some slight tanning, there. Chipping. Looks pretty good, though. These are everybody's favorite times when I have nothing to say because it all looks pretty good. Yeah, that's a nice back. Little ding there in the corner. It's always a shame when like these backs look perfect, but the front's not as much. I think it looks really good. I think it's going to get an 8.0. Finally, we have The X-Men, issue 49. This is the first appearance of Polaris, Lorna Dane, and Mesmero. Also has Origin of the Beast. This book is really pretty awesome looking. The art by Stranko is off the charts. This is a fantastic book. And it looks really, really good to me at first glance. It's very possible there's stuff I'm missing in this white cover. Possibly someone at CGC would say, well, that white's not as white as it's supposed to be, and that would hurt the grade. Now, that creasing there in the corner, that's the first thing I've said that really makes me think that this book is not going to get as good of a grade as I wish it would get. Wow, it's too bad. So on the back here looks just as good as the front. It was just so far that corner on the front that's problematic. I mean, I don't know how you would expect this book to look much better than this on the back as we see it right now. Maybe a little whiter, a little less tanning there. Now, there's that stain there. Keep note of that stain right there. I think that stain is going to hurt the grade because I think it's more than just a manufacturing defect. So I'm going to give it an 8.5, but that stain is a question mark. All right, so you've had the opportunity to see the 3 books in this submission when they were raw. You've assessed them for any defects, any damage, anything that might impact the grade negatively, and you have your guess as to what you think the grade should be. I've told you my guess. Now it's fine. Now it's time to find out what the results are. Now, I always like to open these boxes right in front of you so that you know that I have not already seen these. I have not I've taken a peek at the grades or anything. I have no idea what the results are. Also, these books are in some higher grades than we have seen recently in my videos. There's been a lot of low and mid-grade books. I have books in this submission at an 8.0 and an 8.5. And these are not new books. These are books that have been around for a long time. All pre-1975, once again, economy tier. So the fact that if they get those grades that I thought they're going to get, that's good for Octavia. So you'll see here, this was packed very similarly. This is the same size box as what they put 5 books in, but they only put 3 books inside this box in this instance. Sometimes they put a little extra bubble wrap in there to accommodate for it. It doesn't really look like they did this time, but it's still in there pretty snug. A little bit more wiggle room than I think is ideal. I would have put an extra piece of bubble wrap in there if I was CGC, but we'll find out. I doubt that the books are going to be damaged because of it, but we will find out soon enough. So I would say that the packing job for 3 books was adequate. So what I'm doing right now is I'm feeling to make sure to find what the backs of this, here are the backs. I can tell because there's a little recessed area behind the label on the back. And once again, this was with a rubber band around it with a piece of cardboard on each side. Very typical CGC packing job. Okay, let's look at the first of 3 books that we are going to look at in this video. The first one is, and these all have special labels, which is why they were all boxed together. This first book is The Amazing Spider-Man. Which one is it? I can't tell. 101. My guess for this book was that it would get a 6.5. Now let's see what the actual results from CGC are. Okay, if it gets a 6.5 or a 7.0, I'd say I did pretty well. Did I do pretty well? 6.0. Okay, that's great. I was only 1 grade increment off. And if I'm if I nail it, or if I'm only one grade increment off, I consider that a resounding success. I want to nail it, but being one grade increment off is very good as far as I'm concerned. Now, I do generally, for my submissions, try to be a little bit harsher on the grade so that I can ensure that I get a higher grade than I expected. Because as something I've mentioned before, I like to take what my total costs are on a book, including what it costs for me raw, what all the grading costs and shipping costs are. I want my total cost for a book to be less than the value. And so I decide whether or not I'm going to submit something to CGC based off of what I expect the final value to be. So that's why I'm a little bit harsh. But for these videos, I try to nail it. I didn't nail it, came close, in the wrong direction, but I'm happy with a 6.0 when I expected a 6.5. So I would consider that, for myself, a win. I'm happy with those results. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the second book in this submission, also ASM, also a special label. This one is, yes, issue number 46. Now, my guess for this book was an 8.0. That is a really good grade for a book this old. Let's see. Did it get the grade that I expected? Okay, once again, if it gets a 7.5 or an 8.5 or an 8.0, I'm pretty happy with all those numbers. What did I get? 8.5. Okay, great. So I expected an 8.0. It came back at 8.5, which for a book this old, 1967, man, an 8.5 is nice. Very, very nice. And I'm happy that I was wrong in the direction that I prefer to be wrong, but I was still pretty close with my 8.0 guess on this 8.5. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so I've been off just a little bit on both of these. I feel like I'm getting pretty good at this. Of course, I probably shouldn't have said that until I saw the results for this last one. So let's see. Let's see if I can continue doing as well as I've done so far in this video. The final book that we're going to be looking at today is X-Men number 49. Yes, also getting this special X-Men label. It was my guess that this book would get an 8.5, another beautiful book to get in that grade range. If it comes back an 8.0 or a 9.0, I'm going to be pretty happy with that. But let's see, did it get the 8.5 that I expected? All right, you've seen the results. You've compared it to your guess. Now let me do the same. 7.5. So I was off by 2 grade increments with this one. So I was off pretty far. I'm a little surprised about that. I'm wondering if this like ink spill stain here in the back, I actually think it goes through a lot of the book. I wonder if that had a negative impact on the grade more than I anticipated as potentially like a production defect. Because this book in general looks really, really good. To me, it looks way better than a 7.5. So I have to assume that maybe it was something like that. But we'll take a look at the graders notes, which I'm provided for all these books. And this is an opportunity for me to learn. Why did it get a 7.5 instead of the 8.5 that it looks like to me and that I expected it to get? But even still, I was only off by 2 grade increments. So I don't feel like it was a major miss. But it was a little bit of a miss, especially in the wrong direction. So this is a good opportunity for me to learn. Well, that's all the books that we're going to be looking at in this video. I always like it when you guys share down in the comments what your guesses were and how close you got. It's just kind of fun for me. And even if I don't respond to the comment, know that I read and appreciate every single one. So feel free to let me know how you did down in the comments. If you like this content, likes are appreciated by me. And if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do so. If you like this content, I try to make more of it, but I need more of you to watch it, or else I'm going to stop making it, I have to admit. All right, thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.